Thank you, André.
Yeah,
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the presentation. Since we are on the stadium, we thought it will really make sense to talk about the equivalent of security or of Champions League in security industry. So actually, Security Champions program. And we want to share how it went for us over the last 1 year that we've been doing this. Whether it was nice and smooth and spectacular like the goal of Cristiano here, or whether it was rather painful and not very effective. But first, my name is Mateusz Trójczak. I'm with a guest from Portugal here.
Yeah, I'm André, so big Portuguese fan, of course.
Yeah,
I will not make jokes about the Portuguese rain. I will not make jokes.
We thought about wearing
maybe.
jersey of Lewandowski and Ronaldo, but after Saturday, I didn't want to do it anymore. So yeah, and we didn't say we are both part of the development, security, and DevSecOps team at ISS.
So a few pointers about ourselves. So we have more than 18 years of experience in IT and mostly in information security, and of course. The last few years, we've been focusing a lot in application security, development security. Of course, this comes into the hot topic of the holy war that developers always have with security. So we actually noticed that both of us, to mitigate this issue, we started a champions program, so a security champions program. In my previous experience, of course, in my previous company, I did this in a startup, a medical startup, and of course, then Mateusz started this thing in a big company, not so tech-driven, but of course, a big company, not something like a startup. Huh?
So we want to emphasize it that we are not from Google, we are not from a tech giant with unlimited budget. Our current company is actually low budget, not low budget, low margin company. So I hope you can relate.
Yes.
We are the gold partner, so not so low budget. So I hope you can relate to the story that we want to share here. All right, so we'll just give you a little intro about what actually security champions are, what's about the program thing, so just to be on the same page. Then we'll go through the preparation phase, so how you actually can go about choosing the security champions or actually getting the buy-in to kick off such a program first, and then how to actually go about running it, right? So we'll be sharing our story, but also giving some tips on the way. And then we'll cover some successes of the program, some of the things that we really did, we are happy of and we did well. But of course, we'll also touch on the mistakes, everyone's favorite part, right?
Yes.
So it will also be part of our presentation. Then we'll sum it up, give some final thoughts, final tips that you could share, you could use in your company. And then we'll also share what's the program's fate in our company and what we are gonna do next.
So to give you a little theoretical introduction on what is this security champion, what he looks like really, what's the profile we are looking for. If you remember, I mentioned this holy war that we have with developers, and this is a common thing in all companies. So a champion for us is really the MVP, right? Is a developer that's really insightful on security and wants to be more inside the InfoSec team, wants to deal more with security issues. So this is really a developer on paper, but as we're going to see, this can expand to other peers as well. So a real skilled guy with a real focus on the projects they are doing, willing to commit the extra mile doing this. Well, we put here 20%, but 20%, as we know, it's a lot coming from developers, so this can shift a bit, but they are willing to give this time to us, so this is pretty cool initiative from them. And of course, they are, as I said, closely aligned with us, the information security team, and they actually, as from us, they receive these extended trainings, and we communicate with them very often. So having these champions or players, using our analogy, so this bunch of Cristiano Ronaldos, how do you put them in place? So what is a program, or what is the national team of these MVPs? So it's nothing more than a community, right? You gather these developers that are willing to go the extra mile, you create this community, and we go to spread this awareness, go really the extra mile, share knowledge with the other developers. So we have developers taking the position of security to teach other developers. So what is great about this, right? So it's not coming from security anymore, but from developers as well. So pretty cool stuff. And they help us co-create these security standards. So it's not 100% security anymore. So we are chipping in from the security aspect, but they are chipping in from the developer's perspective, which is something that we, in security side, we so often miss, right? So we often miss the perspective of what is like being a developer, right? They have their quirks, and their bandwidth is really a struggle, as we know. So having them help us is really perfect. So, and they actually lead the security code reviews, and something that is really focused in security, our most security functions like threat modeling even. So, and really they consult on the implementation of other security tools. So we are now seeing guys not from security consulting on security topics. So, but well, this is really cool on paper, but we'll go more deep into this, how this really works into the presentation. And cool stuff here, and one of the key points of having this program is really prioritizing this issue. So the insight they have with our security expertise combined really starts kicking in prioritization. So having this knowledge of what is a security champion, what is a program, we have to kick off, right? So, and there's a lot of things that have to go firstly into the making, so like planning and stuff, but we have to pick the members, right? And this should be easy, right? Developers, there's a bunch of them in the company, right? Just pick them. Well, not so much, as we know. So we've combined this into 5 pillars, which I'll go one by one and have a bit of introduction to each. That are very crucial when selecting or admitting these developers to our program. And the first thing is the scope. Are we picking the developers that are developing our most crucial apps, or are we going all in? So most often we will start small, start humble, and then we grow. But I'll go through this, and then I'll comment. I'll do a brief comment on the highlighted picture. So, and then we have the interest. So volunteers versus volunteers. And volunteers is really, they are picked by management. So here comes the CISO saying, no, you have to join this program. And the program starts to feel like a burden, right? So they start feeling, okay, one more job to do. Well, shit. No. So we prioritize volunteers. These are the people that are really willing to go the extra mile. So these are the people that we want. Well, but if volunteer is necessary, then, well, we will accept it, yeah? So seniority plays actually a pivotal role. So if we start small, we need expertise, right? We need the guys with the most insight here. So if we start with the seniors, then we have the most experienced guys in the program. So we can start kicking off, and they have really the top to bottom power to make developers start doing the things that are required. But often, as the program matures, we'll start shifting to the right, start grabbing juniors as well. So having juniors is actually a cool thing, because if they are starting to work as developers, and we start putting this security mindset into them, so they'll become very powerful in their careers. So this seniority bit is a really crucial point here. And of course, the role. As I've said, developers are the key factor here, and of course we will prioritize developer jobs. But as we are going to see in the presentation as well, we can also combine other roles like architects. And as you know, architects are not developers, but they have cool insights into the applications. They have other perspectives into how things work and how they should work. So don't focus, or don't think that this is written on paper, but really use this and use this in the context of your companies, right? So if you have a small company that only has like 2 developers, 1 architect, so it might be a good idea to also include an architect, right? And of course, the tech they are working in. So developers again, web, mobile, embedded, but also the right side is also important that as a program matures, it should be cool to integrate them, right?
Especially if the right side is not ClickOps, but infrastructure as code, right?
Yes.
So they are closer to being a developer than actually the legacy
Even
role.
if it's OutSystems developer, it's okay. It's no worries there. So as we've said in the beginning, we had 2 scenarios that really commanded this presentation. And the first scenario is really our current scenario, where we have 10 members, 8 different projects, various roles, as we said, seniority really going through mid to seniors, and diverse groups. So we have Portuguese folk, Polish folk, Brazilians, Germans, Romanians. So we have a diverse group here. But this is not that crucial. It's cool that we have a community that has other cultures, other ways of seeing things, but this is not the point that will make the program be more successful. And of course,
it's good to have representation of the community of developers, right?
If your company is wide, so you should even make the program wide as well. So if you have developers in Romania, grab them. It's cool to have other perspectives. But this is the key point. In our current case, we have mostly volunteers, guys that really put themselves in front of the bullet saying, well, why not? I'll help you guys. I'll give the extra 20% you are requesting. I'll help you do these security features, because they really want to also implement security, because it makes them better in the market, into their jobs, into their mindset. So it's really a cool thing. But as I've said, there was another scenario which is more focused on my experience, which I had 7 members, 5 different projects as well, various roles, seniority again going through mids to seniors, and mostly Portuguese folk. Well, this is not a problem, but you have to take into account they will take 2-hour lunches. This is the only problem that you'll face having mostly Portuguese into the program. But if you can deal with that, fine. But the real problem here is that they were mostly voluntold. So management picked them and selected them through different projects and put them into the program. So they started feeling that this program was a burden and not so much a cool thing. And we started losing focus, and the program started dying slightly. And now you are seeing me here, so now you have the output of the program in my previous company. So if I'm here, it didn't go so well. So, of course, you have to prepare it, you have to plan it, you have to set up goals, and this is an example. Don't take it as the 10 commandments of the Security Champions program, but we really advise that you have a charter, you have some one-pager where you really state the North Star of the program, where is the vision and the mission, something that you present to anyone and they automatically see what is the main thing here, why are we doing this. But of course, you also have to define goals, and you should start with short-term goals, which are really the champions upskill in security areas, increased involvement in the vulnerability management processes, and also starting to adopt our tools that we use on our day-to-day business, right? So, and they start using the tools, they start remediating the issues, so they are, as I've said, MVPs here. And of course, you have midterm goals where you start proceeding to create these coding standards, and they help you do it. And of course, they start getting more proactive. They start putting themselves like, hey, look, how if we did this like this and not like that? So they are professionals like you. They are not insightful in security as you, of course, but they have cool ideas as well. So don't treat them all as bad ideas, because they will actually give you some pretty cool insights on things to do from that point on. And finally, have your long-term goals really well defined. So security by design is the key point here. Start doing the shift left, and they will help you. So instead of doing the vulnerability management in the end of the software development lifecycle process, you start implementing it in all stages of the development lifecycle. If you do this, I'll guarantee you that your boss will say, well, cool stuff. We are not spending the amount of money that I was thinking about. So you'll win. So even the security and the development teams will be like MVPs in the company for sure. And of course, this continuous and proactive remediation of new vulnerabilities will be really, it will be visible to the whole company. And this is where the machine starts to being well-oiled. It will go, even if you stop looking at it for one day, it will still move on. So, but you have to make sure to have these goals. And of course, this is an example. This is not set in stone, so feel free to adapt this to your context. But Mateusz, how do we sell this?
So actually, all of this was a preparation, groundwork, you can say, to take this to the management, because this is where we started and where we recommend to start to actually get the management buy-in. It will go from bottom up. Probably it will not fly that well. So first of all, to get the management buy-in should be quite easy with security, right? It was easy with my boss. They usually understand that that your old firewalls, EDRs, are not really suited for the purpose of application security, that we need some extra insights here and extra manpower as well to see what's happening there. It may be a bit more challenging, depends on the organizational culture in your company, talking to the developer management. In our case, it was actually not that difficult as well. It was surprisingly easy for me, but then we were lucky to have some cybersecurity experience teaching moment 4 years ago that Martin here also was speaking on the stage on the keynote. So the ransomware attack actually really positively influenced and it brought the cybersecurity awareness to the proper level. But still, there may be challenges coming from managers saying that, you know, there's extra cost. You're taking 20% of my best people to do some security stuff. Well, the angle that we want to have here is that it's really investment, and we strongly believe that it's investment, and we see already results in our company. Probably you've seen pictures like that, right? So in this example, it's NIST, so showing that the earlier you start fixing security stuff or thinking even about security, the cheaper it should be to get to the goals that you want to have to get more secure systems. And Security Champions is all about it. It's all about having developers working on cybersecurity and having it in mind of what actually can go wrong as they code. And of course, something that is a strong argument, especially in big companies, is that you're gonna break the silos a little bit, right? So you're gonna have less friction between dev and security teams. So there shouldn't be, at least that's the premise, shouldn't be at least last minute requirements. Everything or most things should be actually thought about during the development process. There won't be problems with approvals if a new feature turns out or a new application is out there, and of course security wasn't aware, right? So this is the whole program is there to make sure that those situations don't happen that often. And of course, again, the North Star here is secure by design, and this is what we want to communicate to the management. On the other hand, we have the developers, right? They also, we are aiming to have volunteers, right? So they also need to get interested if they are not already. And you have some tips here, what we used and what are quite obvious, some of them. So free training in cybersecurity, which I think most people find quite cool. You have better visibility for those people across the company. So both in their team and in a wider organization. And you as a security person, you should help achieve those, give them this visibility and promote them. And then what we recommend is also to work on some swag, giving some hoodies, some t-shirts, whatever you want. books. These are some that we gave that worked very well. I especially recommend the DevOps Handbook. That was a hit among our developers, and it's also very, very comprehensive. It touches a lot of different good stuff from and best practices in development lifecycle. And you also have some other examples here. And conferences like this one. I see one of our champions is somewhere there at the back of the room. Yes, so it's good to take them with you and give them the opportunity to kind of brief security as much as possible. And then there is a extra tip here, or a bonus. So actually, if you look out there, there is evidence that they will earn more money. So actually, up to 15% for developers with cybersecurity skills, they earn 50% more on average. This is what you can find on websites like PayScale. So that's a pretty cool thing. Again, in general, profit and doing cool stuff is something that developers like.
So now that you are thinking about it, I'm sure that showing this pay scale in the program will be good. We'll talk about it, but you have to play the league, right? So this is all cool in paper, right? Theoretical stuff, blah blah blah. But how is it played? How do you communicate with these champions? How do you make them go to these meetings? How do you keep the interest in? So the first thing that is really important is how you communicate, how you arrange yourselves, how you have these meetings. So the first thing is to really start getting the basics of communication. So create a channel, and this we advise you to choose the tool they are using, so there's less friction with the developers. So we are not saying to treat them as kids, but there's always friction. They have their way of working, so adapt to that really. So start by creating these group communications, have these security news feeds, and here is a cool point, because often for us every single bit of security news is cool news. Oh, this is cool, ransomware that, or cross-site script here, but for them, they want context. They want news that they fit in somehow. So you should really also triage this news and post them as you feel more fitting to the community that you already have. And of course, the champions group meetings, you have to arrange them so to keep the interest. The regularity is up to you, to the context you have, to their bandwidth, of course, but we advise you to have this in-person and remote. So if your company is only based in Portugal, it's easy to have these in-person meetings, but if it's wider, it starts to get more difficult to arrange these in-person meetings. So you have to really arrange yourselves, but we really advise to have these in-person meetings, because it's the office thing, right? The remote work office thing. If you go one day to the office and start talking to developers, they will give you a bunch of problems. But if you are home, talking to them in Teams or Slack, they will not say anything. It's just a barrier, right? So these in-person meetings really kick off another level of the program. And also, you can have a group meeting with all of them. So you do these broad meetings, or you can also start condensing to more app specific. So they are working on this app, you grab the champions that are working on this app and do meetings specifically for them. So this is how you communicate. There's also the cool part of trainings. They have this passion, let's say, for security, but they want to get better. So communications and these meetings by themselves, workshops, will not do the trick. So you really have to remember, they have the foundations, or maybe not that much. So you really have to kickstart with foundational trainings. And you can also do a cool thing, that you grab other security peers and make them showcase what they work in, how this impacts their craft, how having a security architect in a workshop, how his job affects the development lifecycle. This is a really cool thing that we should pair in the program as well. But of course, application security has many materials to go about, but developers somehow want to see the world burn. They want to see CTFs capture the flags. They want to see hands-on trainings. They want to see demos. They want to see these things live. So they really want to us to showcase attacks. How my application can be vulnerable to this issue. And they want us to showcase this. But you can say, oh, yes, André, this is all very beautiful, but I don't have the time. And it's right. To do a lab, it takes time. It takes effort that us as security peers also don't have. So it's crucial that we use these accelerators that already exist. So one thing was used in our case was the Hacker 101 platform, but you can choose whatever hacking platform you are most familiar with. But in our case, we use this as an accelerator to showcase these hands-on trainings, demos, workshops, things that are really live happening vulnerabilities. But of course, you don't have to stick to this. You have, as we say, for every bit of application security, there's an OWASP page to it. So of course, we have also vulnerable web applications that are free online that you can go about and see how can I employ this quickly in a workshop and make the guys feel like, yeah, this is cool. I want to see more of this.
The nice thing is also that you can actually choose the technologies that are applicable in your case, right? So you can really pick and choose. You can host it yourself. You can do it online. So yeah, sky is the limit, basically. No excuses.
The cloud is the limit. So having all of this said, what were the scoring goals?
Yes, so the things that we are happy with that went well. Well, we actually saw quite instant uptake in fixes of the, let's say, low-hanging fruit, right? So the things that we saw in our tools, we saw in production when we spoke about those things, they started to get fixed. That was a very quick result that we were very happy about. Then something very important, which I mentioned as well, is the breaking the silos, right? So typically, the world of cybersecurity and the development is not always the same kind of approach, not always the best communication, and this actually really helps to get to know the people, to get a direct line with developers, and be just in one message on Teams or Slack away from them, and in the other direction, right? Plus, they will also advertise you as the go-to person if you build this trusted relationship also to their teams. Yeah? So it will even expand higher than the group, wider than the group of champions. Then you will start seeing them coming for consultations with the issues that they know are not great from security perspective, and then now have the trust. They are not afraid to ask for them to you. And we actually, what André mentioned about involving other teams, that's what we did. We involved our purple team, and first of all, they met the guy, they met the team, but even during the pen test, during the session, or just after it, some of the champions came and asked for pen test, right? Asked for pen test. Yes. So this is something that you really want to see and are happy to see in a company. And all of that together also results in a decrease of new issues. And once again, especially for remote companies, is really, we noticed that it was pivotal once André was not yet here in our company. I went to Portugal, I met with the champions, some of our security architects, other security people went there. The collaboration really improved just because we met in person, right? So again, emphasis on this. And then this proactivity will kind of lead to a little network of spies that you'll have. And that's actually a meme I created from real story, right? So there are actually people coming about and saying all the things that were laying in the shadow in the past. And it's just a benefit of building this connection with the group of people, right? And here I have some extra examples. So all around, things that are that they notice were happening, using private devices, using private accounts, sharing new security tools with you, or contesting the tools you chose. That's also a positive thing. Then sharing some issues that they may have, or things that they see could be improved. So in general, very positive thing to see coming from the developers and not being picked from under the bed by the security team. Then if it comes to the things that didn't go that well, of course, favorite part of people on conferences, so expectations. We really had this expectation that, at least I had it, that things will be led by the champions. It's not always that easy. You will still need to lead them, to kind of coordinate efforts, because one cannot just become a security expert after spending 2 hours or 3 hours with you, even though you think it's possible, but it's not. So some patience and still initiative from your end will be required. Some facilitation of those efforts from the security team will be required. And also, just because someone signs up that the 20% of time or whatever the value you give will be available for that person to spend on security topics, doesn't mean that the person will spend this time every week working on some security things. You won't be able to make it happen. They won't be able to make it happen. It's always the tug of war between functional requirements, security topics, and it's still a fight you need to fight to continue working. And security champions is helping, but it's not a silver bullet. It's not fixing the issue. Another thing, actually, this is a screenshot. One of the screenshots, I didn't take many screenshots from the retrospective because there was too much text, but we did a retrospective after 6 months. So a meeting to ask, to listen to what they think about the program. And we actually overkilled in the beginning with theory. So that's why we put so much effort now, so much emphasis now on the more hands-on things. Also, the sessions that were 1.5 hour long were a bit too much to have every week, so we then swapped around the density. And then I started with a newsletter, so putting a lot of effort to choosing the coolest things I could find, the coolest materials, trainings, and things I could share. There was not really much return of that investment. So what I recommend is to just share links to the fan page of André, to the page of Krzysztof, for instance, right? Or some international guys that are already doing this job, doing it better than you probably, and spending a lot of time on it. So you have like Clint Gibler from TLDR Security. Things like that are great to just offload again a little bit of work from you and give nice results. And also for people that actually are looking for news, deliver them.
Yeah, I don't know who this guy is, but Mateusz told me that he's known around these parts. So just to summarize what Mateusz has been saying until here. So the key takeaways here is to not kick off and forget. So really treat this program like a plant. So everybody says this, but really water it, be on top of it. It's your thing to continue. So don't expect the developers to do all the work themselves, or you by the way. Also treat your champions as subordinates. Don't treat them as kids also. So really treat them as the way they are. They are your colleagues, so you should become a trusted partner. So if you do this, they will not come to you.
Listen to them, listen to their perspective.
Yeah. So always listen to what they are saying. Don't be cruel or rude to them. So really put yourself into their place. Don't really expect that vulnerabilities will be gone just because you have a cool program now. Really be proactive, be on top of it, really water this program, right? And don't dwell on theory. Again, not much theory. So really do the technical bit of the program. Really make this a cool and interactive experience. And also, don't do everything yourself, because one thing that will come to mind is I'll do every single bit of workshop, every single meeting. No, make them do something as well, or grab another security peer to do something as well. So, what are we doing with this program? Are we killing it?
So retirement or bringing it to new heights? That's the question basically that Wojtek helped me ask. And in our case, well, not everything went as expected. We didn't reach all of our goals that we set for the program. Now that we see at it, that we look at it after 1 year, well, it was a lot of work, but still we see a lot of value in it, right? We saw that we got much better contact. We saw the fixes that are happening. We now have people to talk to directly, which is really important in a big organization where the silos may appear. And that's why we are planning to actually expand a little bit now that also André is here. We have a bigger team. We are thinking about involving architects that are close to the code, maybe involving quality assurance expert as well, so getting some extra perspective on the topic. We want really to encourage champions to share the knowledge they have. They gain some knowledge through the program. They are learning themselves. They already have experience from other places. And we now have also some volunteers to deliver sessions coming from champions. We want to also reward those guys, appreciate the ones that are most active, just to gamify a little bit, create some competition among them. And then as we mature, because we really started from a greenfield, we want to focus on measurements, better measurements of how the program is performing. So what about you? Do you have a program like that in the company? If not, I hope that our presentation helped you a little bit at least to get to it. We really encourage to give it a try. If you're looking for some more formalized materials, of course, OWASP is here to help. There's a playbook that is actually step by step showing you instructions on how to go about such a program. And there is also a manifesto, so you can say your 10 commandments and main principles to have in mind when working with champions. And then if you already have a program like this in your company, we would like to hear from you. Let's talk, let's exchange experiences. But for now, that's it. We are open to your questions. But before the questions, just mention about the rating. It was our first time on a conference like that, so we will be very grateful if you provide your feedback under the QR code here.
And it's not phishing.
Or is it?
Yes. Yeah, trust me.
I think maybe we will have more success if we say it's a phishing on this conference. Thank you very much.
So, are there any questions? Well,
I can help you with that.
Okay.
Hello, so my question is, have you implemented that in other types of teams, except for developers, like cloud teams or infrastructure teams or data science teams, other people involved in IT?
Good question. Maybe I can take this one, Mateusz. So in my previous experience, I actually implemented this not only on developer teams. I actually had not the common developers, so we had hardware guys, so we actually had some guys from data science, so a bunch of other teams included into the program. So it works well, so you really have to adapt to what they are doing, really. So, but the key takeaway is the same for each and every team, right?
Yeah, it's all about what technology they use. If they use open or like popular languages and tools that are kind of similar across teams, that you can have a different programming language, but they are still very similar, that works. So we have a For instance, infrastructure as code is part of the whole program that we have. We also have the Kubernetes platform guys. We have big data people that are also using Python and other things. But we included, for instance, a guy from integration platform that was a little, we noticed at the beginning it was a little bit too closed. It was too much vendor locked, and the topics we were covering were not applicable in that platform, right? So you still need to kind of judge yourself, talk to the team, see what the technology they're using. Sometimes it's low code that you cannot really touch the code. So yeah, it's your decision to make.
I think we had another question. One more. The boss is telling one more.
Thank you. Hi, I have questions about Security Champions program. Do you think about role like guardian of the Security Champions that lead whole program or lead the meeting, or do you think only that security team do that?
I can take this one maybe. So and I know we don't have much time. So in general, yes, you should have a leader that oversees the whole thing, that guides the agenda, guides the training materials and training plan, so that it's coherent and it makes sense. It's not just some chaotic sessions and different people presenting what they would like to present. So yes, but at the same time, use your team to help you deliver what you want. So plan it with them. If you have other security teams in your organization, then let them share their craft, show what they're doing, and it will also let the developers meet them, right? And then they will also be able to communicate one-on-one.